Hello my friends, back again. Another wee topic for us today, a very difficult one from my experience and experience of listening and working with others. It's probably one of the most difficult experiences we have here on earth is relationships, and that'll be the topic today. Looking at relationships, looking at the relationship we have with ourselves, whether it's a positive or negative one, mostly negative. And then we look at the relationship we have with our partners, our friends, our children, a relationship with a power greater than ourselves, the universe, whatever we may call it, God, whatever we were raised with or brought up with or what we've learned, having a relationship. You look at a relationship with work colleagues as well, the world, people who live in the world, people who control the world. Relationships are very difficult, very, very difficult. I look at my very first relationship I went into when I was a child. It nearly destroyed me. I ended up wanting to take my own life. The fear that I had, everybody told me it was jealousy and envy. It wasn't. I look at all my relationships with partners, with females. They weren't very good. It's because of my own insecurity. I always looked at everybody else, but I never looked at myself and my own insecurities, which was based on fear. Jealousy to me was looking at what someone else had that I wanted, and I became jealous and envious of their job and what they had, and I gathered all this false evidence in my mind, which I spoke about earlier. But to build a relationship, I didn't learn from my previous ones. That's the insanity. We never seem to learn. We always looked at it. For me personally, I always blamed the other person. I never looked at the way I spoke and how I treated them, how I reacted to certain things and people and situations in the relationship. The controlling. I became a really deep control freak, as I was called. And I had to be in control. If I wasn't in control, I became very, very angry and really insecure. And I didn't want other people seeing that in me. And I walked about with a mask nearly my whole life. Wanted to fit in and be liked. Same in relationships, telling lies. When you look at a relationship, I didn't have a relationship with myself, which then destroyed every other relationship. Because of the way I was thinking, the way I'd learned to think, how I'd seen myself and how I saw other people and how I saw life was based on the evidence that was coming through my own mind. Gathering evidence, doing other people's thinking for them, looking into the future, causing anxiety, panic attacks, because I wouldn't come back to the present moment, because nobody ever taught me that. You hear it, live in the moment, be in the present. It's difficult because we're conditioned and we know that now, and nobody teaches us how to change or how to conduct a relationship with ourselves. And everything I learned, I can see now 27, 28 years later, the damage I'd done through thinking that I knew better than everybody else. And I should have looked at that because I never really went to school. I had no education. I couldn't read and write till I was 35 years of age. I never had a relationship with myself. And every relationship I had, apart from my friends, because like attracts like, as I spoke about. So I had a good relationship with friends because we were all head cases. Half our heads, as they say in Scotland, half your head. And that was good because we were all crazy. We like attract like, we could get away with talking crap and behaving in a negative way with each other because that's what friends do. But the relationship I had with other people was based on evidence coming through my head, the expectations I had of how other people should behave, and never looking at my own behaviour, never looking at my conduct, never looking at my thinking. The relationship with my child was based on control, trying to control him so that he didn't end up the way I did. And that was wrong. That put a barrier between us and split us away from each other. When I stopped controlling and I admitted to myself that was wrong, my son eventually came back, which was a gift. I never had a relationship with myself or my son or a higher power. I was brought up with a Catholic religion. My relationship with the word God was based on fear, controlled and conditioned by a word. The fear that I had, the shame, terrible shame and guilt, Catholic guilt and shame syndrome I called it. Fear was going to the bad fire, being judged. It was being told you should be ashamed of yourself. That's wrong to me. Nobody is perfect in this world. They might try to be perfect the way I did because of my religion, but it absolutely broke my heart what other people had said, and I believed what they had said, and I expected so much, as I spoke about in another video, from the word God, and I got so angry and upset because what I read I wasn't living. What I had read and believed wasn't happening in my life, and I expected so much. And it was all down to material things. And I should have known that when I ended up with cancer twice and Bell's palsy 7 times in my face and arthritis. It all stemmed down to my thinking. I know that now, that's my experience. My friends, I don't talk through books. I only talk and do these videos to help others through my experience. But relationships, every partner that I had, I tried to control them, fix them and change them, and I couldn't control or fix or change myself. And that's why we always split up. I became very angry because of my fear in the relationship. I didn't trust my partners, didn't trust my son, didn't trust anybody. And that trust was, I know now that any relationship, and I mean any relationship, has to be based on trust and honesty. And if there's no trust and honesty in any relationship, it's going to break, it's going to crumble. I think we've experienced that. I learned in my relationships not to expect nothing from anybody, because my expectations caused me to hurt and get angry and violent at times and very aggressive. And I wasn't born that way. I'd learned to be really insecure. I never came out my mother's womb insecure. The relationship I had with my higher power was based on books, studying from other people, which is wrong. It's not my experience. My experience today is to build a relationship with myself where I love myself and I trust myself, and in doing that I learn to love other people. I don't trust everybody, but they can't hurt me anymore because I expect nothing from them. I understand why people do the things that they do in relationships, because we're hurting and we think we can get away with it. And as we know through experience again, we never get away with anything. It always comes back to us in pain. And that was my greatest teacher. It took me all those years to learn that my pain was my greatest teacher. Every time I felt emotional pain, it was due to my thinking. But I wanted to blame everybody else. If you wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't be thinking like this. If you wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have done that. It was all blame. I couldn't have a relationship, not even with my child. I chased them away, chased my partners away, and the work, the high expectations of work colleagues and friends, chased them all away. I couldn't hold down a relationship because I never had a relationship with Gerry. Do I love myself? Why couldn't I love myself? And because of what I'd learned, and it destroyed every relationship I was in. To build one with myself, I had to learn to trust myself. I could change. I had to learn to apologise. I had to learn about humility, patience, tolerance, acceptance, which comes from understanding. For me to understand what I know now, which is nothing, That was my greatest gift, to admit I know nothing about a God, I know nothing about the universe, I know nothing about Jared, I know nothing, I'm a fool. And when I finally admitted that and came to that place in my mind, the freedom and the healing began. I began to then take responsibility for how I was conducting myself in relationships. Not to be angry with people, not to judge them, not to criticise them, not to gossip about them, not to try and control them so they can fit in to my way of thinking and behaving. And letting people live their own life their way without interfering. When you look at the relationship with our children, you'll see there's a lot of control there, a lot of fear. When you look at the relationship and people within your work, you will see yourself in them and you will judge them. And when we judge, it comes back to us. When we criticise, gossip, hate, we're the one that feels it. We're the ones, my friends, us. Not the person, us. And I had to stop that. I've got a good relationship with nearly everybody today because I learned to build a relationship with myself. But my expectations of other people destroyed every relationship, expecting them not to do that, or they should have done this, and pardon me, they shouldn't have done that. Well, they did do it, and they didn't do it, and they did say it, and they didn't say it. Why was that happening? My life's too short. You lost your parents, I've done. We lost friends, good friends. It's happened to me. Life's too short. We've lost them at a very young age, our own children. I've had to counsel and work with and mentor people who have lost a child, and to me that's really extremely painful. And you try and get that healing back. And again, it comes through experiences, beautiful experiences that we have when we finally let go. And we can let people into our lives to help us. I've experienced that. I wouldn't sit here and lie to you. The relationship, to build a relationship with ourselves, we have to get to the nitty gritty. We have to look inside and look at the way we think about other people, how we see this God that we were raised with, or we weren't raised with a God, you weren't raised with religion. That's great. You've nothing to fear then. But if we have, to me it's an energy, a power that works through me because I've experienced it. And so have you, my friends, because when you're thinking and behaving and reacting in a positive, grateful way, your body feels great, you're in a good place. When we're judging and criticising and gossiping and being angry with other people, our children, we feel shame and guilt and regret, anger and disappointment, because of the way we think, act and behave. To make amends to people, best amends I could make was when I stopped drinking and abusing drugs for my mental health. And I started to repair, but I had all the work to do on the learned behaviours that destroyed every relationship that I had. And I'm keeping it simple. If you build a relationship with yourself, you build a relationship with everybody else, but we certainly don't need people's approval. We don't need their praise. We don't need their love. We don't need to be liked anymore. Like yourself and love yourself, and you'll never seek approval from anyone. That's a learned behaviour, is wanting to be liked, wanting to fit in with everybody else. That's wrong. These are learned insecurities that destroy us later on in life. And it doesn't matter what age you are, if you're listening to this. It's about responsibility. Build that relationship with yourself where you love yourself unconditionally. You were born with unconditional love. You look at your children, you see that. You understand, hopefully through the videos, that you learned everything. We didn't wake up one morning and say, oh, that's it, I'm going to be a drug addict, I'm going to be an alcoholic, I'm going to end up in prison, I'm going to end up in mental institutions, I'm going to hate people, I'm going to be a racist. You weren't born that way, you learn it. And then we blame our parents or our upbringing or the environment. We're always blaming, because it's very easy to blame and it is to take responsibility and build that relationship with yourself. If you look at the relationships you don't like people, you'll see It's because they're doing things that we wouldn't do. Dead simple, especially in your work. We don't like people gossiping about us, but we gossip. We don't like people criticising us, but we criticise. We don't like being judged, but we judge. And all these things come back to us. And I failed to recognise it. It took me a long time to recognise the lies that I was telling myself, the horrible thoughts that I had towards myself and other people. And it's no wonder I couldn't conduct a relationship with myself, a power greater than myself, family, friends, because of my insecurities, mine. I don't blame anybody anymore for the way I behave or the way I react. I still make mistakes, loads of them. I'm going to make loads more, but I certainly don't punish myself because I didn't get up in the morning to go out there and harm myself or anybody else. I've learnt so many things about myself. I know nothing about life, I know nothing about God, I know nothing about anything. I just know that I can change, and to me that's a gift, is being able to know that you can conduct a relationship, a healthy relationship with yourself. When we take responsibility for the things that we've learned that's causing us not to have a relationship, and you'll see simplicity, it's all down to the way we think and how we react to other people, which I spoke about in the other video. We react to sight and sound and what we tell ourselves. And that's why I couldn't have a relationship. I was too busy judging my partner, frightened, mistrusting partners, following them when they went to their work, maybe at night in my car, hiding in my car like a private detective. Didn't trust them. No, I didn't trust them because I'd been hurt in the past. And that was my fear. I carried that fear into every relationship where I mistrusted all my partners, even some friends, good friends, because I didn't trust myself. And for me to build that relationship, I had to learn to trust myself and be honest with myself that the way I'm thinking has absolutely destroyed every relationship I've been in. And I look back through meditation and saw it was not just from my childhood. I hear people talking about all the trauma starts in childhood because they listen to other people. I only speak through experience. I've worked with people who have had a great childhood, were brought up with love, unconditional love, spoiled, rotten, and they ended up affected by drugs, alcohol, gambling, and they couldn't recognise why. I was brought up in a loving relationship with my parents and everything was good as a child, and growing up, and it happened in a teenage life. So not all trauma comes from childhood. Trauma is trauma. I work with veterans and ex-veterans and who have got PTSD, but it's not just veterans, it's people from the forces who suffer with PTSD. Most humans suffer from a trauma, something that happened that sets a trigger off. And that's where the insecurities come. It breaks down the relationships. I couldn't identify the insecurity that was causing me to judge, to mistrust, to hate, to be frightened, and it was fear. I mentioned that in the other video, what fear does to us. It destroys the relationship with ourselves, where we end up unwell, really unwell. And we end up sometimes with partners where you can see it sliding. You can see it in two people in a relationship with a codependency, something else that's learned as a child, because we depend on our parents to change our nappy, to feed us, to give us a cuddle, to give us attention. And we go through our lives depending on that. Nobody ever says, you need to cut the dependency and start being independent, Gerry. I was so codependent on other people, it was unbelievable. Another break up relationships because of the codependency. I've learnt today that that relationship for me, the universe, is based on trust, where I won't get hurt because I only hurt through expectations, and I expect nothing from anybody today, and that way I'll never be disappointed or hurt. And that to me is your tip, my friends. You're in a relationship and you love yourself, you won't be hurt. I promise you that. You won't be hurt. I could share the difference with you before I finish. 28 years ago, I was really insane. Still am, but really insane. And if I was to walk into the bedroom for talking's sake and catch my girlfriend or partner or wife in bed with another man, I'd have probably shot them if I had a gun. I would have shot them. I was that frightened and full of rage. Today, if I walked in and caught my partner and another man in my bedroom, I'd just say thank you. Thanks to the universe for letting me see that's not the person for me. For letting me see that. Thank you, because I was meant to see that. And I wouldn't hurt today, because I'm building a relationship with Gerry where nobody can hurt me, especially me. And that's why all your relationships, when you build that one with yourself, you will recognise the way you think, act and behave towards yourself and other people. The jealousy, the envy, the fear of what others think of you. You will see that when you learn to love yourself and be kind with every single thought through practicing it on a daily basis, you will see that relationship. Your body will heal. You will be more confident. Your self-worth will come right through the window. It's an amazing experience when you learn to trust yourself. And trust is just going against the opposite. When you mistrust yourself and catch it, you learn to trust yourself that you can change that thought at any time. Building a relationship is making amends to yourself, that you made mistakes and you didn't know any better. Because if you did know, you wouldn't have ended up insane like me. So we didn't know any better, my friends. Please remember that, because if you knew anything about yourself or life, you'd have changed it. This is the purpose of the videos, is to help you, to help your children, to break the cycle within your families that we've already learned, and now we can break them because we're finally understanding in a simple way, in layman's terms, how to change, which I'll go into the process of change later on and teach you and show you how to change. Don't mean teach, I'm not a teacher. I'll help you understand what we need to do to change. But build that relationship. Please look at how you think about yourself and others, and when you do that in an honest way, you'll see the relationship will grow. I promise you that. Everything, the feelings, the sensations in your body will get better, because you're learning to be kind to yourself and other people in your mind. Let people live. Let them make their mistakes. Don't judge them. Build that relationship with yourself, and the rest will just flow easily. That's a promise. Be kind to yourself. Catch the negativity. Take responsibility for it. Don't expect nothing from anybody in any relationship. Just look at yourself and why you're looking at other people. Why am I judging? Why am I looking? How are you not looking at yourself? That's what I had to learn to do to build a relationship. Why couldn't I look at myself? I couldn't catch the way I was thinking. I couldn't recognise it. It was habitual, just to look at people and judge them and hate them and belittle them. And then I was belittling myself because of that Catholic shame and guilt syndrome, the regret, the shame and guilt. I knew I shouldn't be doing it. My body was letting me know. You need to build a relationship with yourself, Gerry. And it took me a long time, so I'm trying to help you do it a wee bit more quicker than me. So please look at the way you look at other people. Look at the way you look at yourself. And I promise you, when you see it, you will change it. So thank you again for listening in to my wee short videos, and I hope and pray that you took something from it, because as we know, relationships are difficult. When we take responsibility for us and the way we're looking at it, things will change. Namaste, my brothers and sisters. Thank you kindly for watching. Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you.